Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So normally today I would be uploading the next part of my Fill the World Create a Sim challenge and we would be moving on to Windenburg. However, I did not have time to actually record that video for today. So instead I am going to be doing a second speed build this week. So this was a build, I actually did this back at the beginning of April, and this is a colonial styled house that I have decided to call Halifax House. So yeah, yay, bonus speed build. So as some of you may know, I currently am working like a full-time, daytime type of job, just for a few weeks, and so before I started that job, I went ahead and pre-recorded 2 speed builds to sort of serve as emergency filler types of videos, because, you know, I was smart about it and trying to do 5 videos a week while also working a full-time job and spending time with my family and my husband and my friends has proven to be a little bit of a challenge. So last week, instead of having a build Newcrest video, I did a speed build video. Then it was the Just Beachy house, which was quite cute. So I'm cashing in on my second emergency build for this week because I had a crazy weekend and did not have a chance, and I like to record my builds and my Create a Sim videos over the weekend. For one thing, I've found that they get a little bit more gallery attention by uploading on the weekends to the gallery because, you know, that's when most people have more time to play The Sims. The other thing is that because I have to go to bed kind of early, I mean, like, it's not super early, but I have to go to bed around like 10 o'clock right now because of my job, and so by the time I get home from work, cook dinner if it hasn't already been cooked by my wonderful husband, eat dinner, you know, like there's a lot to do. Doing dishes and laundry and cleaning and like random other things. It's just, I don't have a ton of time in the evening to do a video, especially not one like a build or a Create a Sim that requires a little bit more thought or effort. Usually doing Let's Plays during the week like this is not really a big deal. But for a build or a Create a Sim video, it is a little bit more difficult for me to try to do those during the week. And because on the weekends, I've been really lucky this year. I've had a lot more free time on the weekends. Last year when I was working, I had stuff going on literally every single weekend. Like, not even joking. It was kind of chaotic. Like, I wasn't really uploading very regularly, if at all, at that point. But if I had been, there's no way that 5 videos a week would have been happening at that point. I had baby showers and wedding showers and weddings and family things, and, you know, just sort of by the nature of the beast, I tend to work like March through June-ish, and, you know, give or take a little bit here and there. So in that time period, we have several family birthdays, there's a few different holidays thrown in there, and so yeah, it's kind of chaotic. But this year it hasn't been too bad, so I've been able to get some work done on the weekends, except for this weekend. So if you watched my Build Newcrest video from this week, which if you haven't, I recommend checking it out. It's the Treat Yourself Spa, so definitely worth a watch. But in that video, I explained why my weekend was so crazy, and it largely has to do with a trip that I had to make to the emergency vet with my dog. So that took up a big chunk of my time on the weekend, and everything's fine. Like, I'm not gonna go all the way back into the whole story again, because if you want to hear it, go watch that other video. But basically, we thought that my dog had pink eye, and because we are currently dog sitting for my in-laws, I wanted to make sure that what was on her eye was not pink eye before we brought another dog into our house, because obviously that would be a big problem because I don't want it to spread. Turned out it wasn't pink eye, so we were told that it was either, well, not we, I was told, because my husband was actually not there because he was in the middle of, my in-laws are moving right now, which is why we're watching their dog. So I went with my mom to the vet, and we were told that it was either a bacterial infection, which, you know, like, not great, but fixable, or a tumor. So, you know, not really expecting that one. But it does look like it was just the bacterial infection and not a tumor, because of course the very next day her eye is like totally fine, and it's, you know, it's basically all over, but you know, still took up like a big chunk of my weekend time, and you know, it's not great having to go to the emergency vet anyway, and then they hit you with the really high vet bill and, you know, all that. I did kind of jokingly be like, too bad I can't use my health insurance on this. They do make pet insurance, like, but honestly, for most dogs, it's really not worth it. Because we have briefly considered it, but it's for most dogs, they don't need it. And for the ones who do, it's like, well, okay. But like, it's so rare that you actually have a dog that would need enough of a medical bill that pet insurance would be worth it in the long run. So yeah. Anyways, so a little bit about the build. So as I said before, this is a colonial styled house called Halifax house. I tried to kind of make it look like a little bit more older in style, especially like this kitchen. Like, you know, I used the older styled refrigerator and the older styled stove that's kind of like more wood burning looking, which, a side note, I actually really like that we have those items in the Sims 4 base game, because they are kind of different, and that's not something that we tend to get very much in base games. Like Sims 3 base games, it was like, this is the basic fridge, it sucks. This is the moderate fridge, it sucks less. This is the high-end fridge. Woo! It's so shiny and fancy and modern. So, like, it is kind of nice that we have some stuff that's, like, it has a little bit of character to it. So, yeah. So, the kitchen, I went with kind of like an eat-in kitchen style. So, it's definitely a colonial-styled house. It's maybe not, like, a super traditional floor plan, because, I mean, in reality, you would have had a separate dining room in a house of this age, but I did try originally when I was doing the floor plan, I did try to have a separate dining room, but it just, I don't know, I just couldn't get it to work out, so yeah, skipped it. But yeah, so eat-in kitchen, everything is like very like neutral, and I don't know, I tried to make it very realistic looking. I think sometimes it's really easy to fall into the trap of making houses that are like super over the top and colorful, but like in reality, nobody decorates their house that way. At least not anyone that I know of. I mean, maybe there are people, but they're not the majority. You know, like most people don't have like super colorful, ultra sleek modern things, and like, I don't know, maybe it's just people around here, but that's sort of my experience. So yeah, and I mean, we don't really have, well, we do have some colonial styled houses where I live, because, so I live in Columbus, Ohio, and so we have some older buildings. I mean, like, I'm sure everyone in like Europe or really anywhere else in the world is like, haha, you think your buildings are old. Well, okay, for the United States, we have some older buildings, especially like in the original, like, so Columbus is obviously Columbus, but then there's also like a lot of smaller towns that started off as separate towns that have grown and sort of have all merged together, and so it's like the greater Columbus area. So like in each one of those original separate small towns, in their downtown areas, you can find a lot of like older styled houses and businesses, and it's very quaint and cute, and I like it a lot. But my area doesn't really have that so much. I mean, like, where I live, we had houses that were built in, like, the late 70s, early 80s, which, architecturally, not the greatest time period. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love my house. It's it's a great house, but it just, you know how like when you watch like HGTV and you watch like House Hunters or something and they're like, I want a house with charm and character. Like, this is a house with charm and character. My house doesn't really have charm and character, but that's okay because, I mean, it's a house, and to be perfectly honest, our housing market here is like crazy difficult to get into, which again, I realize that there are other parts of the world and even other parts of the United States where they like, you know, they look at Columbus's housing market and they're like, okay, yeah, sure. But we do have a housing shortage, like affordable housing. There's a lot of like high-end apartments that are coming in, but there's really not affordable apartments. So that's kind of a problem. There's also like just houses overall. There's a real shortage of houses. I mean, like, there's just nothing. If you don't already have a house, it's very difficult to get into a house right now in Columbus. Like, I see all the time people in I'm in a Facebook group for my neighborhood, and there are several realtors who like live and work in our area, and all the time they're like, you know, let us know, like, do you want to sell your house? Like, because we have lots of interested buyers. And yeah, I mean, it is definitely like not a buyer's market right now. It is a seller's market for sure, because there's just not that many houses, which is why sometimes like I forget, like, I know this sounds so stupid, but like I forget that people in real life just can't make a house. I mean, like, you can, but like you have to buy the land, and then you have to, you know, buy the floor plans or like contract out with a specific housing development, and then you have to work with a builder, and like there's a lot that goes into it. I have my in-laws actually built a house a few years ago, which is the house that they are currently, well, yeah, they've moved out of it when this video goes up. And one of my aunts actually also built a house as well within the past couple of years. So like I've had quite a bit of exposure to like the home building process in real life, and it's kind of terrible. Like, I don't know that I would have the patience or energy to deal with it. And in The Sims, it's just so easy. Like I sometimes like forget that, like, oh yeah, I just can't add on another bedroom to my real house because that would be thousands of dollars. Like, I have a friend who, she and her husband are adding on a first floor bathroom to their house with like a mudroom. That's it. Bathroom, mudroom. So like super like basic. I mean, like, there's plumbing and stuff that has to go into it, but like they're not huge rooms. They're very small, and like it is crazy expensive to do that to their house. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very much needed thing, but like it's a lot of money to be able to do that. And like, I don't know, in The Sims it's just so easy. You're like, oh man, I'm running out of room. I guess I better like build on another room somewhere, or like, oh yeah, or like just something as simple as like, oh, after I put up this wallpaper, it doesn't look good with the flooring. Like, right now my parents are redoing their living room and their dining room, and so my mom was asking me for advice the other day about like what wall color versus what carpet color, and I was like, what do you mean? You can't just like, I mean, like, they could put up a little sample, but it was like a tiny square. Like, oh crap. So in real life, you can't just like cover the whole room with whatever it is and then just tear it up if you don't like it. Like, obviously, you know, that wouldn't work because it's crazy expensive. But yeah. So I don't know. I do enjoy building in The Sims, but it does sort of like blur my lines with reality versus fiction. I don't know. So anyways, this is obviously the living room area. I tried to go again with like a more neutral styled color scheme, but like neutral with like kind of a periwinkle blue accent color. And again, all of the furnishings I tried to make look very traditional, very, you know, what you would see. Oh no, I'm yawning again. Why does this keep happening to me right now? I know why. It's because it's currently 9:30 p.m. My bedtime is in 30 minutes, and my body is like, you could just go to sleep now while you're recording the voiceover for this video. That's totally fine. I actually went in and I put in the like background music for this video, which sometimes I don't put that in until after I've already done the voiceover, but I did it this time beforehand, specifically because I was like, okay, I'm going to pick energetic music, and it's not going to make me sleepy, because the voiceover from my spa build from the other day, the music is like all zen and calm, and like, it's very pretty, but it was putting me to sleep. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be like uplifting, high energy chamber music. That'll keep me from falling asleep, but no. Clearly it's not working. But yeah, I actually really do enjoy chamber music. Side note. Yeah, I don't know. So like, okay. Back in the day, do you guys remember when you would have like email like survey things that would go around like with you and your friends, and it would be like 30 or 40 questions, and it would be like, what's your hair color? What's your eye color? What's your favorite music? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite food? And it's like, you know, just like random things about yourself. And then they sort of migrated over to being like MySpace things. Like you used to, okay, I know, I'm old. But back in the day, MySpace was the thing. And you could do like notes on MySpace. Sort of like Facebook notes, if that's even still a thing, which I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Nobody does it anymore if it is. But like, so yeah, so it sort of migrated. Like it started off with email and then it became MySpace. Actually, was it on Zynga at one point or LiveJournal? I think, no, it definitely was on LiveJournal at one point. It might have been on Zynga too. And then it was like MySpace. That was the big thing. Like you would do like a little survey thing about yourself on MySpace. And then it became like a Facebook thing. And now they've like, for the most part, kind of stopped, thankfully, because they all got to be like very repetitive. But yeah, but one of the questions was always like, what's your favorite type of music? And like, I'm legitimately like, I hate people who do this, but I'm one of those people who actually likes all types of music. But a lot of people would just say they like all types of music, and they're like, I like all types of music except for country and opera and classical and this and that. And it's like, well, then it's not all types of music, because you've eliminated like a good chunk of the world's music. But so I'm sure I've said this before in other videos, but I studied music in college. So like through my studies, I actually really did listen to like all types of music, like from Gregorian chant to like Tibetan singing bowls. What was it called? We had a gamelan ensemble at one point, which, if you don't know, is like, it's basically like floor-based metal chimes is the best way that I could think of to describe it. I don't know. I didn't participate in it. I just knew about it and listened to it. Actually, I had a roommate at one point who, although was not a music major, for some reason she was in the gamelan choir. I don't know why. Never really figured that one out. But yeah, so I legitimately did listen to like all types of music. And I will say, like, that's not to say I have my favorites. Like, generally, I am not a huge fan of country music, but like, I can appreciate it for what it is and what it has done. So, yeah. Like, you know, like, I'm not a huge fan of like, especially like, like any more country music is just sort of like pop with like more acoustic guitar, if that. But I'm not a huge fan of like older country style music, but I still enjoy it sometimes. Like, I don't know, there's a time and a place for a lot of things, I think, and I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I mean, like, basically what I'm saying is I have my favorites, but I really do listen to like a little bit of everything. Yeah, I don't even know where that came from. Nope. I remember talking about the survey things and because I was talking about how I like chamber music, because this chamber music was supposed to make me less sleepy, and it's kind of working, but at the same time also not. So anyways, back to the build. I seem to have a hard time sticking on topic. So we've already seen the master bedroom being done. That green bedroom was the children's room, so it has a single bed and also a toddler bed that's matching. I don't know. That's something I really enjoy doing in builds, especially because since toddlers were kind of introduced kind of late in the game to things, it is nice because that way then, one, if you do have a toddler in your house, then there's actually a bed for them. And it's like a transitional bedroom. So like, it's not a big deal. They can just stay in that same room and it's fine. Okay, another yawn. I'm sorry. So this is the teenager's bedroom now. So this bedroom is kind of odd. It's very cluttered. I tried to make it seem like maybe it was somebody where they decorated a lot of it themselves. So a lot of the rest of the house is like very matchy and like it's very well coordinated, whereas this bedroom is a little bit of a mess. You know, maybe it's somebody where they, you know, don't really want to be super matchy and don't really want to like blend in with how the rest of the house is. But best of all, my absolute favorite part of this bedroom is that it has attic access. So in a perfect world, the stairs up to the attic would have been like some sort of a trap door that could come down from the ceiling or something. But we don't have that. We've never had that in The Sims. We definitely don't have it in The Sims 4, considering we don't even have spiral staircases yet. Or ladders. Actually, a ladder would have been really good. I really liked having ladders in The Sims 3, actually. That was a lot of fun. I don't think I appreciated it enough in the time, but it was good. So anyways, so this is the only bedroom that has access up to the attic. So I sort of thought, you know, because the bedroom itself is kind of small, that it would be kind of a nice reward. Like, well, you get this super small little bedroom, but you also have the only access to the attic. So, okay, another yawn. It's getting more frequent, guys. I don't know what to do. So yeah, I put in the attic, I put a, that's not the telescope, that's a microscope. It's a microscope, even though it's huge and looks like something you would see like in like an actual science lab instead of just someone's house. But I put it up there because I think it's ugly and gross. But it seems like a good like secret attic hideaway type of thing. And then there's just like, there's a bookcase up there with like a chair to sit in. So like it's sort of like his own secret lair, or her own, whoever. What am I doing? Oh, that's right. I had to I forgot about this. This is the problem with doing the voiceovers like a month and a half almost after I recorded the original video. So I did test this and obviously did not edit out the footage of it, but at this point, I'm not gonna bother. I wanted to make sure that Sims could actually use the microscope up in the attic, because obviously what's the point if you can't? So yeah, so it's kind of like this like junky storage room type of place too. I'm not gonna lie, in actual gameplay it is a little bit difficult to see up there just because it's inside of a roof, but I mean, it's a secret attic. Like, it's fine. It doesn't need to be like the center of your gameplay or whatever. You know, like, it's okay that your Sims might not always be super visible up there, I think. And again, if it's really that obnoxious, just move the roof. Like, that's all it took. It's fine. So yeah, so what else am I doing here? Okay, so now we're up to the upstairs, like, landing area, which I have this hard time sometimes with, like, I never know what to put in hallways and landings. So I usually end up putting in one of those, like, ottoman things, or like a bookcase with a couple of chairs. I don't know. They're just, like, hallways are just kind of silly, wasted space to me, and I never know really what to do with them. So this is now, we're moving on to the backyard. I love this little stone fence. I think I used it in my house that I have for my Ant Life Let's Play. But it's like the perfect, like, old-timey stacked stone, cobblestone kind of fence. And it works so well with this house. So I tried to do landscaping that was like also like very traditional, very like typical Americana. Actually, once I put in the flowers are all like kind of like a red and white color scheme because, you know, like patriotism and all that jazz. So, you know, and then what else did I put in that backyard? I know I put in the pirate ship jungle gym. And then there's a little patio area with a table and a grill and a gardening area. I don't think I put anything else back there, but I really like how I like this whole house in general, but as far as like exteriors of houses go, I am like really happy with how this turned out. As some of you who have watched my videos for a while know, I do sort of struggle sometimes with like landscaping, but I feel like this video I really like. I don't know, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but I think I showed a lot of improvement in my landscaping, especially around front. I do sort of have a tendency to be very like samey in my landscaping. Like I'll use like, I don't know, I think it goes back to like Sims 1 days where it was like, you have these red rose bushes, you should put 5 of them in a row. Landscaping done. Accomplished. Yay! So I think it kind of goes back to that where my landscaping is like, I'll just put everything in rows. And in reality, like most landscaping is not done that way at all because it's not very organic and natural. I mean, like there's a time and a place for that type of landscaping, but for most houses, your landscaping is going to be like more fluid looking, a little bit like softer, like no sharp edges types of things. So yeah, so that is something that I have been working on. And yeah, I think this house turned out really well. I mean, like overall, not just the landscaping, but overall, I was very pleased with how this house turned out. I don't remember how much it is. I feel like it's a little bit on the pricey end. Like it's not a mansion at all, but there is a lot of stuff in this house, and I didn't really like factor in any sort of a budget when building this. I really do want to, because like, okay, so here's the deal. By doing the Build Newcrest community lots thing, I'm discovering that I'm not doing as much house building, obviously, because between that and 3 Let's Plays and a Create a Sim series, that's 5 videos a week right there. So it is more difficult for me to fit in house building videos, and I do enjoy them a lot. I just don't have the time to fit them into my schedule. Like, it's not even so much of a time to record them, which currently is an issue, but down the road that won't be. I just don't have the time in my upload schedule for them on a regular basis. So, but in any case, I would like to go back to doing like some sort of a budget type build of some sort, or, you know, like with more restrictions. I have done, you know, like my Just Beachy house was it Just Beachy? Now that I say that, I'm second guessing myself. I know I did do a build recently where it was base game and all expansion packs. Oh, no, it was this one. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. This house is base game and all expansion packs. Oh boy, I am embarrassed. I hang my head in shame. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. If you want the Halifax house in your game, you can download it from the link in the description box below this video, or you can search for it on the Sims 4 gallery using the hashtag MrsTomato1018, or by looking for my username, which is also MrsTomato1018. And I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do so down below. I put out a new video every single day, Monday through Friday. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!